A very good morning to you all. We are actually discussing a series of lectures on soft skills, and as we said in the earlier talk, we are dealing with the writing section where we are discussing report writing. Earlier we discussed what a report is and why it is important today to know the art of report writing, how a report is different from other forms of writing. In the present lecture, we are going to talk about the different types of reports. As I said earlier, a report is an only tangible product of a professional. But then, what sort of reports do we come across, and what sort of reports are we supposed to write? Can a report be short or long? Can a report be only informational, or can it also analyze? We will discuss, and how, depending upon the nature and the need, reports vary in their features. As we discussed earlier, a report is actually written in response to a demand or a need. Since it is a formal piece of writing, it is actually this formality that makes various reports different from each other. People may at times also wonder, what should be the length of a report? How long should a report be? That will also depend upon the formality. That will also depend upon the need. Moreover, if the flow of reports in a particular organization is very frequent, naturally the length of such reports will be less. But here, in a professional world of today, you need to understand the differences between all sorts of reports. Reports can be long, reports can be short. Reports at its outset can either be written. We have talked earlier that reports are written records, but then here we are also going to say that reports can also be oral, but then they will differ in terms of their approach. Reports can be management reports and technical reports. Reports can be routine and reports can be special. Now let us try to understand all of them in a very elaborate manner. Now what are short reports? Imagine yourself going back to your school days. Remember, you went to a school trip or a picnic, and when you came back, your teacher asked you to write a report. Now such a report will be short, very short. It may even at times may not be more than one page, because it is just a sort of description. So when a report is short, it has a sort of limitation, but on other occasions, when you are sent from your organization to submit a report on the basis of the information available, you may write a report which may be a bit longer. But then that also cannot come in the category of a technical report, because a technical report will require lots of illustrations, lots of supporting materials. So a short report can be sometimes between 5 to 6 pages, sometimes depending upon the need it may be 8 to 10 pages. When you are supposed to write a short report, which we may also call a sort of informal report, not many things are required in such a report. There may only be a sort of authorization, since as we have discussed earlier, you do not write a report because you want to write a report. You write a report because you are authorized by some of your seniors. At times you are given the task of writing a report. So, a letter of authorization will be there, and they will also tell you the problem. Now, you will decide how this problem will be dealt with, and then you can give a conclusion. But then when it comes to recommendation, it always depends upon the letter of the authorization or the person who has assigned you the task of writing this report, whether a recommendation is required or not. My sound advice to you all is, do not recommend unless and until you have been asked to. Conclusion is okay, because conclusion is based on the data that is available. But when somebody gives a recommendation, some way or the other, some of your own thoughts also come into picture. That is why recommendations should not be written or should not be given unless and until asked for. Now, these short reports are informal in nature. We have in some of the previous lectures discussed a letter report and a memo report. These are short reports, they come in the category of short reports. As we have discussed, a letter report will be in the form of a letter where there can be a salutation and a complimentary clause. The language will be, the tone will be a bit informal. Likewise, when you talk about a memo report, which also comes in the category of short reports, it will be written in the form of a memo. There will be no complimentary clause, no salutation. But then while drafting such reports, all you need to do is, you are always to remember your purpose. I would like to emphasize time and again that before you write a report, ask yourself why you are writing this report. When you ask yourself why you are writing this report, it will give an answer to so many queries. It will make your task easier rather. In terms of the approach, the length, language, you have to be very concise, plain and direct. And when you have written this short report, please review before you send it, because that will allow you to understand certain pieces of information which hamper or which can hamper the flow of reading. So, if you come across such a situation where you feel that such pieces of information are blocking the flow, put them in the appendix of the report, which we call in a longer report or in an analytical report back matter, where there will be several appendixes. So, put unnecessary materials in the appendix. Next comes technical reports, which you will come across every now and then. Being in an organization, you will find that you are at times given the task of writing a report. Hence, it is very important to understand what is a technical report. Why do we call it technical, and what are the specifications involved in it? A technical report has to have a proper documentation. So, when I say documentation, what I mean is it should have a proper structure, and in structure it should follow a proper beginning, it should follow a proper prefatory material along with the discussion, the analysis, the illustrations, the supporting materials and many more. In such a report, I mean in a technical report, discussions are very deep, discussions are very detailed, because you are doing it in order to analyze a problem, and since reports will provide a solution to a problem, the discussion has to be very clear, elaborate, logical, systematic. Moreover, what is of utmost importance is the data, because in the definition we have already said a report is an official piece of writing. Moreover, it is actually a description based on the data analysis, and this data has to be factual. So, but then one has to understand much depends upon the data of the report, isn't it? So, since data is very important, you should know what are the sources of the data, because every curious reader would like to know the veracity of data, I mean the validity of the data. For that you need to understand the sources from where you have taken the data. Sometimes it may appear that a report is simply the collection or simply the gathering of some other pieces of information from some sources which may not be reliable. Such a report may not be effective. As I said earlier, reports enable decisions, and since decisions are to be taken, the data as well as its sources have to be very authentic. Otherwise, any wrong decision that results out of a report may mar or may actually harm an institution. And when you have got the data, because there are various ways you will gather the data, you will collect the data, and once you have the data, what you will do is you will start analyzing the data, interpreting the data, sampling the data in order to come to a proper conclusion and recommendation if required. So, a technical report by its very nature is technical because it is elaborate, it actually entails a lot of discussion, it also tells you about why you are writing the report and why you are writing the report and what actually the person who has assigned the report wants you to cover in that report, that will be discussed in such a report. Now, when you are analyzing the data, you will find, suppose you are actually writing a report on the problem of pollution, you are writing a report on the disposal of garbage. I mean, these are some of the topics. So, when you are writing such a report and you have got the data, you need to analyze the data and to discuss it in the light of the information that you have got. But since this analysis will be longer, what you will require is, you will require that there has to be a proper division, because you will come across several items, there will be several items, and when you are analyzing, what you are supposed to do is you are actually to divide it into several sections as well as several subsections. When you are making a sort of analysis, this analysis should be broached upon in such a manner that finally it is paving way to reach a conclusion. And as conclusion is based on the data which you have, the conclusion has to be logical. Moreover, based on this conclusion and based on what you have been asked to do in the terms of reference, what you are supposed to know is whether you are going to recommend some course of action or not. Remember that you are not supposed to recommend unless and until you have been asked to. And if you are giving the recommendation, of course your conclusion will be based on the discussion that you have made, but suppose you are going to recommend some action also, it is quite important that the supporting materials are there, and these supporting materials can be of different sorts, say the sources of data, the method of data collection. Sometimes you are trying to suggest some course of action, so for that also you need to provide some sort of support as we have discussed earlier. And these supporting materials, because maybe there are a number of such supporting materials, and if you put them all in the midst of the report, that may block. So let us try to see that these things are flushed towards the back matter of the report. Now, as we have said, reports can be short and long, and reports can be technical. Now any technical report can also be, that also can be categorized into two. First is that it may be informative. Remember, you are following a course where the teacher takes your attendance, the teacher keeps a record of your attendance, and towards the end of the semester he actually recommends, or in the midst of the semester he also recommends whether you should be allowed to continue in this course. Now how does the teacher come to know? He actually comes to know by having a look at your attendance records. Likewise, now this piece of information, here you are providing some sort of action, some action will be taken, but all reports may not enable us to take some action. There may be reports which simply may be informative in nature. Now what is an informative report? An informative report, as the term itself says, is simply a piece of information. You simply want to know the market survey, and you for that you have supplied a questionnaire, or you have collected the data through some other sources. Suppose somebody is going to have a sort of lab report, I mean laboratory report. Sometimes you are going to take a stock of an inventory, sometimes you are going to make a sort of inspection. So you are going to now in such pieces of information you will find that you do not have to make much use of language. There are certain columns, every organization will have a sort of pro forma where certain items will be there, and all you need to do is you simply need to tick. You are not going to recommend any action in many of the cases. So this is what an informative report can do. It simply conveys information, and it also develops aims and objectives of an organization or of a particular product. I mean, you are not the person who will recommend some action, you are simply going to understand the trend, and for that this pro forma has to be filled out. So an informative report presents information as it is. There is no further analysis as we have discussed in our technical report. That is why an informative report may be shorter. An informative report may be shorter. Suppose you went to see the activities, or suppose you went to see the flow of traffic on a particular square, on a particular say road. So what you will do, you will simply go there and watch, and after watching you will come and you will put it. You are not going to recommend any action. So for that there is some other person who will recommend some action. So an informative report, it simply presents the information as it is, not as what it should be. There are some examples of informative report that may be, we may also call it periodic reports. For an organization, which say has its report say weekly, no, it may attendance report may be weekly, inspection report may be monthly, bi-monthly. So, since it is from one period to another, we may also call it periodic reports. Likewise, readership surveys, suppose a new magazine, it wants to know, because it is the magazine does not have much reader now. So, what it will do is it will actually have a sort of readership surveys and would like to see how many people read a particular journal or a newspaper. Then employee booklets, you will find here you will come across lots of rules and regulations. For example, the prospectus of a particular institution, that may also come under informative report. Here not much is given about the action or something like that. It simply allows you to understand the aims and objects. Even an organization, you know, the website that you go to have some information about a particular organization, that is also a sort of informative report. Then committee reports, that will also be a sort of informative report. Policy statements, sales reports, credit reports, production reports, all these come under the category of informative reports. Now, such pieces of information may at times be also very routine in nature. But then another sort of technical report which is of utmost importance and huge is analytical or interpretive. Now, how is this report different from an informative report? While an informative report simply puts the information as it is, an interpretive report, it actually interprets, analyzes, and it evaluates based on the data that it has. It will put a lot of interpretation, and while it interprets, it also comes to know about some other things also, I mean, which may not be very specific, but it gives you some amount of information about some other aspects also. And this analysis is chiefly of investigation. Say for example, a new product has developed certain deficiencies, and for that if a report is to be written, so everything will be taken into consideration as to why this happened, and you know, for coming to a solution, it is only an analytical report or an interpretive report that can help you come to a solution. And it is once again an analytical report that will help you understand, or that will help you come to an action, whatever action may be taken. So, it simply finds and it moves one step further, that it recommends some action, and since it is based on a problem, the analysis will not only help you to reach a conclusion, but it may also suggest or recommend some course of action on the basis of which some decision may be taken. So, an analytical report can also help in taking certain decisions. All you need to understand is, as a report writer, you must take into consideration the approach that you are not biased, the data you have, but while you are interpreting that data, please keep your personal bias out of this discussion. An interpretive report will be elaborate in nature, meaning thereby it will be very descriptive. It cannot be confined to 8 or 10 pages, rather it can go sometimes to 30 to 35 pages depending upon the nature of the problem. Now, all those people who are working professionals, they might know it better, that when a new recommendation comes, say for example pay recommendation comes, the pay committee or the pay recommendation committee puts into consideration all sorts of situations, and then finally they come up with certain recommendations and they submit this recommendation to the government, which on its, now it is once again, it is for other people for the government or for other people who are at the decisive role, they only can take certain decision, but then based on the recommendations which the report writer has already given. So, the data has to be analyzed logically, because much depends on how you are analyzing, and when you are analyzing you must ensure that it should be in the greater common good based on the data, because you are the person who are going to recommend some action. It is not sure whether all the recommendations that you have suggested will enable, but of course some of the recommendations may be taken seriously. So, an interpretive report is more objective and it is more scientific in nature, and you will also find, since this is elaborate, since this report is quite longer, sometimes the report writer, because not every person is interested in reading everything, and since it is time taking, an elaborate or analytical report requires a lot of time. So, BG professionals, what they do is they will look at some of the graphic details which are in the form of illustrations. So, they will simply come to analysis and then they will see how it has been done through certain tables and charts. So, illustrations are very important in an analytical report. So, make use of illustrations, but when you are making use of illustrations you should see the relevance, if it is of relevance, because visuals, they actually are more important than the written ones and they are easy to understand. For example, if you are mentioning the employment trends of a particular organization, or if you are mentioning the trend of people leaving a particular organization, that can be very well through certain graphs or through certain charts. Hence, you have to be very particular when you are making use of illustrations. Next comes routine reports. Once again, the term routine itself suggests that such a report is of routine nature. Now, this routine report has got a sort of regularity in terms of frequency. As I said earlier, it may be written in a month or in 2 months time, sometimes in a week or a fortnight. So, such a report is regular but at fixed intervals. That is why these reports, they actually deal with regular matters of the organization, say for example finance, production, sales, performance, inventory. These, now why are these important? They are important to make the internal people aware of what is happening, how they are progressing, and moreover when this a routine report, you will find in many organizations they have got annual reports. So, these annual reports, they are nothing but a compilation of data and data of the period in which that has been reported. So, every organization has got annual reports, and in such reports you will find use of language is less and the pro forma is also fixed. Here you do not have much autonomy either with language, because it has got a pro forma and you are simply going to fill out certain pieces of information or you are going to tick. So, it has got a fixed pro forma and the use of language is less, but then we cannot say that this routine report is not important. It is as important as interpretive report, because it tells not only the internal people but also the outside agencies what this organization does. Say for example, when you are doing a project, suppose you have got a project, so every 6 months they send you a pro forma, and in this pro forma you are to you are actually to update how much of work has been done, how much of work is remaining. Likewise, when you are writing a lab report, you are once again going to fill out certain things. Every organization, every year, or say every 6 months, they are also going to have a sort of stock verification, so that they should come to know what things are needed and what things usually have got to be abandoned. So this is very important, otherwise what will happen? You will have lots of things and it will appear to be a big mess, because reports actually help you not only convey, but it actually helps you communicate for further business. Then we have inspection report. You actually want to check. In big organizations, you will find from time to time they actually change certain things in certain products. How do they do it? That is on the basis of the inspection. Recently you might have read in certain newspapers that some of the car making companies, they are actually going to withdraw certain facilities, and in addition they are going to provide some new facilities. So how do they come to know it? They actually come to know it only through a report which actually tells them. Then, as I said earlier, that if an employee is to be promoted or he is waiting for a promotion, for them also we actually require a sort of confidential report. Of course, this appears to be very routine in nature, but it actually analyzes and it tries to evaluate the performance of an employee, and for that various organizations have various performers where they see your skills, your publications, your performance, your workplace behavior. There are several categories depending upon and varying upon the needs. Now, based on this ACR, at times many organizations call it ACR, annual confidential reports. So it actually helps in analyzing or in understanding the capability of an employee. So this is annual confidential report of an employee. So all these reports, they appear to be routine in nature, but still they are very important, my dear friends. And then we also should understand another category of report, which is management report. Now this management report is non-technical in nature. It is different from the technical reports. This report may not be that longer. It may be at times shorter, because it is only the top people who want to know certain things, and since it is non-technical, once again here more use of illustrations is important than not much of explanation is required in such a report. It is often said that once a management report is submitted, depending upon the requirement or depending upon the urgency, the managers would like to see the technical report. So the readers of such reports, especially the managers and others, they are only interested in the finer parts of the report. They only want to see the conclusion, what is there. They may not, but then at times they may also would like to see how such a conclusion has been made, and for that they may go to have a look at the technical report. In such a report, especially in a management report, the language use is very restricted, and the tone is at times journalistic. We shall have a detailed discussion on how language can be used in a report, because when you are writing a report, you also understand who your readers are. We have talked about who your readers are. Much depends, because since action is to be taken, much depends upon the background, age, taste, preferences of the readers of our report. My dear friends, at times in organization some critical junctures are there, say something some mishappening is there. During such moments also a report comes into force. Such reports are called special reports, which are written only during critical hours. Here you do not have much autonomy, but then there is time limitation also, and the report writer has to be extra vigilant, extra diligent, extra intelligent, extra careful. For this there is no standard format. It is up to the report writer, but report writer can in such a situation use his own caution and his felicity with the language, because the objectives here are very clear, and in such a situation because some action will be taken, the report writer has to be very careful. So, how he very meticulously uses the language is of prime importance. So, but then such a report, the frequency of such reports is quite less, because it occurs, or the need of writing such a report occurs only during aberrations or when some mishappening is there and all. So, while writing this report you need to exercise your caution and your linguistic ability. You know, you may come across all sorts of reports once you are a professional and in an organization, but please do remember, when you are writing a report, let us try to understand that we need to be extra vigilant and extra careful, and in this regard a quote appears to be very pertinent, the quote by Searing and Christian, which says, "A report is like a bathing suit, it covers everything that has to be covered but nothing more." The meaning is, a report should not have any unnecessary, any irrelevant material, but only materials which are required, only information which actually will help and not harm. I hope by now you are in a position to understand the various types of reports, and in the next lecture we shall be talking about the strategies as to how we should start or initiate the process of report writing. Thank you very much.